I'm Megan.
I'm Colin.
And this is
Pet Sitter Confessional,
an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter.
Brought to you by Time to Pet. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Weddings are big business, and now more than ever, people are wanting to have their pets involved with their weddings. So what does that look like? How do you structure those services? What are things that we need to consider if that's something we want to offer? Today, we're really excited to have Regina Richardson, owner of Furry Ventures Pet Care, on to talk all about that service, how it got started, and some of the ins and outs of it. Let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. My name is Regina. I am located in Tampa, Florida. I'm the owner of Furry Ventures Pet Care. We are a wedding day pet care company, and we also do daily pet care as well, 7 days a week. So I got married, and I wanted my 3 dogs in my wedding, and it was just very hard to do it on my own. And I didn't want to ask a family member or a friend who was at my wedding to leave my wedding, go drive to get my dogs, help them in the pictures and the ceremony and watch them and kind of miss out on everything that has to do with my wedding. I wanted them to enjoy the day with me. And I definitely didn't want to ask someone who wasn't invited to my wedding because that's just a little bit awkward. So after I got married, I quit my job and I just started to do this full time, and I started to help other couples, include their dogs.
What kind of clientele do you find that you typically click with? What are they looking for? Do they usually, are they the ones that bring up having a pet involved, or is that part of a planning process where they realize that it's a possibility?
I think it's more when they realize it's a possibility. Every time we go to wedding expos, everyone's always like, "This is the thing. This is real. I can have my dog at my wedding." And I'm like, "Yes, you can, absolutely." People don't know really that this service exists, and I'm just, we're all just trying to get our names out there and and tell everyone that it is possible to include your dog in your wedding.
Yeah, this is it's a really niche service, but it fills a need that a lot of people have. It's a growing demand for people. You mentioned going to wedding expos. What are those like? Because I know trying to go to a wedding expo can be extremely overwhelming as an attendant. So how do you make sure that you're prepared and ready to talk about the service that you have in those kind of situations?
Yeah, it definitely is overwhelming for, couples who are attending. There's so much information and so many vendors there that day. And you get everything that, that you're looking for, and you just don't know who to pick, and you don't know what services you want. And, we kind of just go there and we tell the couples exactly what we do. We give them a little brochure. We give them our business cards. They can watch a movie that we have going on our table. And we just, we answer all the questions that they have on what we do and how to get their dog there and how do we get them home and everything like that.
Yeah, I really see the value of having that movie playing, because once you start seeing how other dogs are integrated into weddings, it is very much a kind of show and tell kind of service of seeing how they're integrated, what those photos are going to look like, because then they start putting their dog into those situations and they can really see that service come to life.
Yeah, I'm a very visual person. So to me, I think the movie is, awesome just to see exactly what we do and how other weddings look with their dogs in it.
Now, when it comes to partnerships, I know partnerships are a really big deal in this industry. I can imagine for you, they'd be even more important. So what kind of partnerships do you develop, and how do you approach places to offer your services there in their venues?
I think marketing ourselves is, the biggest thing that we do. Partnerships, we are on a lot of preferred vendor lists from, venues and wedding coordinators and photographers, videographers, everything like that. It's just who kind of now in this industry instead of what Yeah.
Well, so how do you approach those venues when you're talking about them? Do they seem pretty receptive to these ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we tell them we handle everything pet related, and we just take the stress off the couples and the coordinators and the venue. We are licensed and insured, so we carry that with us. And, God forbid something happened, a dog goes to the bathroom inside, or, they break something, we carry that insurance, and it's off of the venue's responsibility.
Yeah, they're all about liability in those kind of situations. So
yeah, absolutely.
Showing up and having that on hand is a load off of their back. Do you ever get pushback from people who are concerned about the dog being brought in, or how do you have those discussions with people?
Yes, a lot of people always say that their dog is too crazy, that they can't include their dog in their wedding, and yeah, everyone always says that. I'm like, your dog is not crazy. I promise. We exercise them beforehand. I don't think that any dog is ever too crazy.
Now, as far as like the day of the service, what does a typical, I know there's no such thing as a typical wedding, but like, you wake up the morning, it's the morning of the wedding. What does that day look like for you?
So beforehand, I guess before we pick up the dogs, I'm just running around my house, making sure that I have everything that I need. I have bags upon bags of dog treats and wipes and water bottles, everything that you think, you would need for a dog. We have doubles and triples of, just in case we need them: leashes, harnesses, collars, everything. Bandanas we bring just in case if the couple doesn't have something for their dog to wear. We have that as well as a backup. Sometimes they forget it somewhere, so we always have something for them. We pick up the dog, we bring them to the venue, we go and say hello to the couple. Sometimes they are in separate rooms. Sometimes we arrive when they do their first look. So depending on where they are, we'll go say hi to them. The photographer is usually with them, so we'll take a few pictures, and then we go off and do our own thing, kind of get all that excitement out and get them familiar with being somewhere new, all the good sniffs in. And then when it's time for the ceremony, we help line them up for the ceremony. If they need us to walk down the aisle, we will do it. Typically, a bridesmaid or a groomsman will do it. Sometimes we have the dogs walk by themselves if they behave and they could do it. And then we just assist with pictures after, and then we bring them home.
One question that I have about that process is I know how I dress for a typical dog walk or pet sitting visit. Attire-wise, do they provide clothing for you to wear to be part of the wedding ceremony, or do you come dressed in your dog walking gear?
We have a uniform. Yeah, we have a Furry Ventures shirt that we wear. We do pants, and then we do sneakers because we are walking around with them a lot.
Yeah, I can't imagine trying to do that in a formal dress or a tuxedo and not be a mess at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on the ground and we're squeaking toys and we're sitting with them and playing with them. Yeah. Definitely I wouldn't be wearing a formal dress and holding a dog at the same time.
Now, you said you prepared by bringing triplicates of everything.
Yeah.
Do you ever have conversations, or do your clients have conversations with you about whether you will be eating with them or not, or how do you handle it? Because that, to me, that seems a little bit awkward. Of, I'm in your wedding, but I'm not in your wedding. I'm going to be there the whole time, but I'm kind of not. So how do those conversations come up, and how do you handle that?
So in our contract, we have a clause that says, depending on how long we're there, we do require a vendor meal. Most of the time, we aren't there that long to eat with the other vendors, but if we are, then they do provide a meal for us.
Now, how did you learn about that aspect of being a vendor at a wedding? Because that is not something that, you said it of, vendor meal, like that's just something that everybody knows. I've never heard of that. So how did you go about doing research into this service and making sure that you were well protected and you had what you need?
It's trial and error, honestly. When I got married too, I think that helped a lot. With reading the contracts and seeing, what the other vendors required, like the meal and the time and, parking and everything like that. I think that helped me a lot when I got married. I learned from that. And I think, like I said, trial and error going, to each wedding, and you learn day by day.
Yeah, I'm sure that first time that you show up at a wedding and don't have food and go, this won't happen again next time.
Yeah. I'm starving.
But that's the kind of places that we find our in when we are offering these kind of very, very unique niche services. There are a lot of things that we have to consider. And for people who are just looking at this, I know it can be kind of daunting to go, oh my gosh, I have to take into account of all of these little factors and factoids to make sure that I pull the service off. But knowing and understanding, it's okay. You're not going to get it all right 100% of the time. You're going to forget things. You're going to miss things. But if it's something that you're interested in, to try and then take notes and refine and work from there.
Absolutely. I mean, we're humans. We make mistakes,
Unfortunately, we do.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is not forgetting the dog. So
yeah. So, with a typical dog walking and pet sitting service, we are sending updates to the clients and letting them know how things are going. Are you doing that while they are in your care, or do you try not to because, bride and groom are a little, they're a little busy?
Throughout the day, we do tell them how they're doing. But when we drop them off, kind of just like a regular dog walking pet sitting visit, at the end, you write like an update to them. So we'll send them an update, and then we send all the pictures that we took that day.
Now, I saw on your website that you offer something called the Best Day Ever Videography. Tell me about that service, that package, and kind of what that looks like for you and offering that to your clients.
Yeah, so we do a little video kind of from your dog's point of view. We follow them around all day and get literally everything on video, from their first look, when they arrive, when, mom or dad sees them for the first time. We get that on video, the ceremony, playing with them the whole day. And then we put a little song to it, and then we send it out to our clients. And that's an add-on to our packages.
Okay. Well, what's really neat about that is that it's something that people who are already interested in having their dog be a part of their wedding, getting this behind-the-scenes look, I can imagine would be very meaningful to them. So it's already tapping into this interest and this desire to have their dog, their pet, be part of their wedding, and then to have that aspect of where was my dog on my, on the biggest day of my life? What were they doing? Because they are a major, they're a family member for this person, and so I that's a really, really, I love that idea. When I saw that, I was like, this makes perfect sense to offer it in this kind of setting.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of our most popular add-ons. The couples love to see what their dog did all day, and a little behind the scenes. It's not like a wedding video like the videographer would provide. It's a little more fun. You see your dog and us playing with it and you interacting with the dog.
We look at in our businesses, we do look for those opportunities to go, what are things that I can add on? What are things that I can give more value to without, exponentially increasing my amount of work? And so doing something like these shorter-ish videos with some music behind them and doing some editing, you're already there. You're already there with the dog. You're already taking some videos and photos. Why not try and put them together into something like this that person can have? And they're going to cherish that memory for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier about how people will say, oh, my dog is too crazy. Have you been in a situation where, it's time for that dog to go down the aisle and it just isn't happening?
I don't think we've ever had a bad dog. I probably just jinxed myself when I said that. But no, every dog that we've worked with has been a dream. It's so hard to say goodbye to them at the end of the day. They are just also great. I don't think we've ever had a problem with a dog walking down the aisle. I think one time we did have a dog who we unleashed, and he was supposed to run to his dad, and he just got too distracted and wanted to say hi to everyone. So he walked like down each aisle of chairs to say hi to everyone. But that was about it, and it was super cute.
Yeah, it's hard to be, what are people going to do? Be angry that the dog is being adorable? You're like, come on.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you saw, we have an Instagram reel and a TikTok of two dogs wrestling in the front row of their mom's wedding. It was so cute.
Well, and those are the kind of moments that, again, people who are looking for this service, like that is, they get to have that be part of their lives. They get to have that, these family members, they get to be involved, and it really does change the atmosphere and make that a really, really fun place to be.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It just makes everyone happy too. When your dog arrives, it's a stress reliever, and all those, nerves go away. Those last minute wedding jitters just go away. You see your dog and you just forget about everything, how nervous you are, and you just love them.
Now, your clients, do you find that they are mostly locals getting married, or do you have people who are coming in for destination weddings and wanting their pets taken care of? And is that something you would even be able to accommodate?
Yeah, we do have a lot of local people, but we do have destination weddings. We are in Florida, the beach. We have a lot of beach weddings. Couples do bring their dogs down from wherever they are, and they're getting married on the beach. So we definitely help them. We had a couple who lived in Seattle, and they drove all the way down to Florida with their dog, and we helped included him in the wedding. We do a meet and greet. We could do a meet and greet, like a Zoom meet and greet before, if they're out of town, or if they're coming in the week before. We usually do that beforehand. We don't require a meet and greet, but if the couple wants one, we can do one.
I know you've been talking about a lot of dogs. Do you get requests for other animals, and is that something you'd be able to accommodate?
So our first wedding that we ever did, we did a dog and a cat. The cat walked in a harness and a leash. It was the cutest thing ever. He didn't walk down the aisle, though. He was just there for pictures, but we put him in a little harness and a leash, and he walked around. He loved it. We do get asked for cats. A lot of the times the couples don't include their cats. Cats are a little fickle. They could be funny. We also just had someone ask us about a boa constrictor.
Okay.
I've never done snakes before, so I'm not opposed to it. I would have to meet it and, kind of see how to handle it, because I've never been around a snake before. So,
well, and that kind of leads me into asking about specific requests. I know weddings tend to be very synonymous with high stress, high demand environments, and very demanding people who are attending, whether that is the people getting married, or whether that is the location or the venue or whomever. So talk through how you handle and approach specific requests or maybe stressful situations that come up through that process.
So we do a timeline beforehand, and we send that out to the couple. We ask them if they have any special requests, any pictures that they want, if they want their dog sitting in the front seat for their ceremony, kind of stuff like that. So we go over every little detail before the day of. And sometimes even the day of, they change it. Sometimes, a bridesmaid was supposed to walk down the aisle with them, and they changed their mind because of the rehearsal. They didn't think that they could handle it in high heels. So we'll do it. Yeah. So we make it very stress-free for the couple. Anything that they want, we will do it.
Well, that kind of embodies what this service is meant to be. Again, around weddings, there is this tendency to be passing some information, and then somebody else just handles it, right? And it makes it a very, very magical experience for the people getting married that day, and even some of the attendants. Of things just kind of happen because of the professionals and the experts working behind the scenes to make it come off as being seamless. And obviously, you are working extremely hard to make it appear that way. But look, we've thought through all of these things. These are all of the questions I'm going to ask you. You didn't even know to ask me if you wanted any photos, but I'm going to ask you because that's what you're paying me to do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we do it day in and day out. Basically a wedding every weekend. So we know everything, what to ask. And everyone's always like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yep, don't worry. That's why we're here.
Have you heard about our friends at Time to Pet? Dan from NYC Pooch has this to say.
Time to Pet has been a total game changer for us. It helped us streamline many aspects of our operation, from scheduling and communication to billing and customer management. We actually tested other pet sitting softwares in the past, but these other solutions were clunky and riddled with problems. Everything in Time to Pet has been so well thought out. It's intuitive, feature-rich, and it's always improving.
If you are looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show can save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. Now, if the people getting married, if they are going and jetting off on their honeymoon immediately afterwards, do you offer services to then take care of their pet while they are traveling, or do you need to hand that pet off to somebody else?
Yeah. So we do provide in-home pet sitting. We don't do boarding, so we don't take the dogs to our house, but we will do in-home pet sitting at the couple's house if they are local. If not, we'll bring them to a boarding facility if they ask us to. We've had a couple clients, have us drop their dogs off at the boarding facility or at a family member's house.
Now, the other thing that I noticed on your website is you have this very interesting service called is it Finding FURever service where you bring adoptable dogs to people's weddings.
Yes. So
where did this idea come from? This is amazing.
Thank you. So it actually started during the pandemic. Weddings shut down, pet sitting shut down. We had nothing to do, and the whole wedding industry shut down. So all the photographers and videographers and rentals, we didn't know what to do. So we started to put together styled shoots, and I would bring adoptable dogs to them to help the rescues, get updated pictures for them for their websites and just kind of help them get their picture out there and known. And we've gotten almost all of the dogs adopted from those styled shoots. And we also bring adoptable dogs to weddings. We'll have the couple or the bridesmaids hold them down the aisle instead of flowers. And it's super cute. And the last wedding we did, all of the dogs got adopted, and even the photographer adopted a dog.
And what I love, again, what I see this reoccurring theme here, Regina, is the partnerships are so critical to your business and to what you're bringing to people. You have partnerships with the venues and partnerships with these places and these vendors, and now partnerships with rescues. And I know for the dogs, like, to me, it's not just the day of whether they're going to be adopted there or not, but then these videos get shared. People talk about that. They're able to get exposure in these situations where a lot of times people don't see adoptable puppies around a bunch of other people. They don't see them in these situations. So it not just, it takes that aspect of the unknown and really puts them in a familiar situation where people can really see, oh, that I can see myself with that dog. Look, they're in a wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. We've partnered with a couple rescues in the Tampa Bay area to provide, adoptable dogs for the style shoots and for the weddings.
You have the most adorable video on your website of showing how that's all put together. Again, the importance of visually being able to display and show what this looks like so people can envision that. Now, when people find out about that service, again, I'm curious how they react to that. And I'm sure people who are dog people immediately latch on to that. But what kind of conversations do you have with people about actually integrating and making that work into their wedding?
Yeah, when everyone sees that video, that's the video that we play at the bridal expos. And I think that it just draws people in and they just love it. They freak out and say, oh my God, I can do this. I can include my dogs, or I can include adoptable dogs. We've had, a bride or groom come over and say that they want adoptable dogs at their wedding. They don't even have a dog, but they want to include adoptable dogs in their wedding. And, that's something that we can definitely make happen.
You do everything from dog walking, pet sitting. You also offer day of weddings, but even way before that, you can help people make their dog be part of the proposal. I think you call it the pup-posal.
Yes. Proposal.
Yeah, the proposal. Is this typically where people just want to have their dog in photos for that day, or do you integrate them into the actual proposal and display of that event?
We could do both. Integrate them, as a surprise. Kind of after, they get engaged, we'll bring them over and, their dog is there and they have a cute little sign that says, she said yes, or he said yes, something like that.
You mentioned the sign, and earlier you mentioned the bandana. Do you have a lot of these props and things on hand that you can provide, or do you request people provide their own gear and equipment that they want?
So most couples have their own outfits that they want their dogs to wear, from a cute dress or a matching tuxedo to the groom and the groomsmen. But we do provide bandanas for female dogs. We have ones that say Dog of Honor with a cute little flower. And for the male dogs, we have a black and white tuxedo bandana. We also offer custom bandanas that match the wedding colors. So if the couple gives us, their wedding colors, we'll try our best to match it to them. I think I've just seen it, on Etsy, all of the bandanas that are being sold. And we've been to weddings before and the couples forgot, their bandana or their outfit. And I think I just thought I can make something or I can bring something, just to have. So I started to make the bandanas and, the couples loved it.
Again, having this eye and this attention to detail of, I know you didn't think about these kind of things, but this is what we bring to the table. When you hire us, you are getting this entire thing.
Absolutely.
You book a limited number of people. It's hard to be in two places at once, 2 wedding days and events at the same time. So
yeah.
How does scheduling these events work for you?
So it's basically first come, first serve for weddings. I mean, I say it all the time on our Instagram and our Facebook, book your wedding in advance. And it's kind of last minute for couples. They think of everything else before, what am I going to do with my dog? It's a lot of last minute bookings, but I harp on this all the time. So if anyone's listening that wants to include their dog in their wedding, book it because it goes fast. Dates go so fast.
Well, and that's a reminder of, I'm sure in Florida, even there are the peak wedding seasons, and then there's kind of the dips and whatnot. And I think that's for you, that's why having access to those preferred vendor list and to be going to those expos, to be getting in front of people as much as possible to let them know that this is an option. So when they start that planning process, to include you in that and get on your books.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When people think about new services, we think about the aspects of actually fulfilling the service, which we've talked a lot about. And then there is the pricing aspect. So do you charge per time? Do you have a set rate for the day?
Yeah, so we have a minimum package of 3 hours. Like I said, trial and error. We decided that 3 hours is the minimum that we would need with the dog at your venue. 2 hours just goes by so fast. So we start there. That's our base package. And then we just, do hourly. We go on. If they want more time, we do hourly. Different pets, additional pets are additional, prices.
And that's so important to recognize that it's really the time that people are paying for they're paying for their dog, they're paying for their pet to be present at the wedding. And they need somebody to make that happen. And if you are there for 4 hours, that is an opportunity cost that you are not able to be elsewhere. They are requiring you to be there. And you should be compensated as such. And putting these together sounds like as packages and having that minimum packaging protects you because there's the time that you're going to spend at the venue, but there's also transportation and preparation and wrapping it all up and handling all of the messes and all the additional communication and everything there. It's not just showing up and then walking around for a bit and then leaving. Like there is a lot that goes into these days.
Absolutely, and it's just not the day of, it's, preparing for it the day before or, the week before, coordinating with all the venues and the vendors and making sure that they know that the dog is coming and, getting the timeline from the coordinator and the photographer and telling the photographer, like, this couple wanted their dog on their first look. So please mark it down on your timeline that dog is going to be in the first look and, do the pictures with the dog before the bridal party, everything like that. So it's not just the day of, for us, it's like a month, planning your wedding with your dog.
Well, and you are being an advocate for the clients. They hired you to make sure their dog was there and present and involved in their wedding. And so hearing how you are having to go to the venue, the vendors, the coordinator, and continuing to advocate for, did you think of the dog? Did you think of the dog? Did you think of the dog? Okay, did you think of the dog? Right? Like that is stress, that things you have to consider. And that's, again, what people are paying for this kind of thing is for you to be able to go, hey, it's great that you have the photos for the first look. Did you think of the dog? Right? It's all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we try to make it as stress-free as possible for, not only the couple, but for the other vendors. And we want to make sure that the dog is included in everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Regina, thinking back about, the service and how it's developed for you, what would you say is your biggest piece of advice for somebody who wants to start offering this, or maybe just what's one of your biggest lessons that you've learned?
I think marketing yourself is the biggest thing that you can do. Educate people that this service is out there. Get in touch with venues and vendors and just make your name known. Because
unlike typical dog walking and pet sitting, you don't get very many repeat clients in this particular niche of the industry.
Yeah.
You don't. It's hard. So it's hard for the word to spread. And while there are weddings and these celebrations every day, right? They are a lot more sporadic than vacations or long days at work or other more typical life events where people need our help. And so to stay on top of marketing, to hear you say that several times throughout our conversation, really drives home that point of, if we aren't willing to get out and basically shout our names from the rooftops and call everybody and integrate into this and have those processes in place and be the professionals, it's going to be hard to grow this kind of business, because we have to get in front of people and we have to help them understand this service that they have probably never heard of before and will only use the one time. And then we still have to go out and find more clients for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do have some repeat clients. They love us so much that if they are local, they'll start using us for dog walking and pet sitting, which we absolutely love because we get to see the dogs again.
Sure. And that's, again, so that's a really interesting point of, hey, they use our services for the wedding day. Now they know about our services. And I'm sure you've had people who use your pet sitting and dog walking services that then just get married and use you for that as well. So there is a nice synergy of these services that you have, but still making sure that you are out there staying top of mind for people. For you, do you find that marketing aspect comes easily or naturally?
So I actually have a public relations degree. So, talking to people and networking is kind of what I went to school for, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think it comes a little bit natural for me. Every person I see with a dog, I hand out my business card to. Literally every single person. And sometimes people are like, I already have your card. I'm like, have another one. Yeah. So it's getting your name out there and getting known. I think it comes natural to me. I don't know. It may not, but I talk to everyone.
That's important. Being sociable, being active, talking to people. And yeah, I've been in the same situations. I've gone to some events and stuff, and I've kind of been passing out business cards, and then I just start passing them out again, and you'll see people, they'll just hold it up to you, and you're like, well, give this to your friend or whatever. And you just
Exactly. Yes. Your neighbor needs it or something.
How has this service increased in popularity during the time that you've been offering it?
Been so busy. And the more and more that we get our name out there and, network with people, they know that this service exists and, we can help include their dogs in their wedding. And I think that more and more people are getting dogs and including them in their wedding or want to include them in their wedding. So they're looking for services like this to help them with it.
Yeah, especially when we consider that of modern pet parents, that's not young pet parents, that's people who own a pet in this day and age.
Yeah.
70 to 80% of them view them as a member of their family. And so they send an invite to grandma. Why wouldn't they have an invite set aside for their dog? And that's where we come in and where you come in and can go, yeah, I know you might not have thought about that, or maybe you did explicitly. Here I am to help.
Yeah. I mean, people are having birthday parties for dogs, so why not include them in your wedding?
Exactly. All good points.
Yeah.
Well, Regina, I really want to thank you for taking time out of your day to talk with us and share about this very, very interesting and growing service and demand that is going to be there, and it's going to stick around. And I just see it getting more and more popular. And it's up to us to figure out how we want to make those days run, how we are going to integrate ourselves, and how we can bring that professionalism that people can expect and trust to make sure that day goes off flawlessly. I know that there's a lot more involved here. So if people are interested in a lot more of the intricacies and some of the things that you do to have this set up, how can people get in touch and start picking your brain and following along with more adorable wedding dog photos?
You can reach us on Facebook or Instagram. We're Furry Ventures Pet Care. You can also email us at info@furryventurepetcare.com and our website.
Again, this has been a very fascinating conversation, and I'm very excited about it, and it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
The thing about weddings is that they are an incredibly personal event to be made memorable and enjoyed by all who attend, and those obviously being married. The wonderful thing about running a pet business is that we can take our own spin and our own turn on what it means to offer wedding pet attendant services. We can choose what we want to include, what we want those packages to look like, to delight those not just attending the wedding, but obviously to delight and inspire those being married and who asked us to be there. We really do have an opportunity to make this event extremely magical and unforgettable for all of those who attend. And that starts with excellent partnerships, excellent communication, and thinking through, stressing about, and worrying about all of the little details that it takes to run this service. We really want to thank our sponsor today, Time to Pet, and our wonderful Patreon members for supporting the show, and you for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.